Is it on? Yo, Em, how you doing, brah?
What's up, Eminem?
Oh my God, sorry we haven't hit you back in a second, dude, but we just heard your new shit.
Sounds like you miss us.
You are so
Eminem.
funny. Dude, Yolandi's not my girl, brah. She's just my best friend who loves me. Everybody knows Fissy Day to Muggsy. Mad respect to my brother Muggs. And me slipping. You used to rap better on drugs. Motherfucker, I'm old and I'm ugly. But these kids don't give a fuck cause they love me. We bred these kids, Em. They ain't giving no fucks. But they're not feeling your rhymes or your Botox. Or that bass on your face with the Photoshop. I heard Neil Blomkamp's remaking Robocop. Brah, what's a South African? Put that cool shit from Detroit back on the map again. You went out like Michael Jordan. Damn, retired as a guard and came back as a man. Nobody roll like me. E-M-I-N-E-M-R-I-P. R-I-P. R-I-P. E-M-I-N-E-M-R-I-P. Finish him. Fatality. E-M-I-N-E-M-R-I-P.
How do you do that? E-M-I-N-E-M-R-I-P.
Tomasa Poesman.
Genijdenhol.
Yo, craziest shit just fucking happened. Eminem just said my fucking name on his goddamn song on his new album. This shit is crazy. Listen.
I'll make myself at home, I belong here. Clown, don't tell me about the culture. I inspire the Hobsons, the Logics, the Coles, the Shawns, the Chaos, the...
Whoa! Shit! Oh, shit! What the fuck? I didn't even know he knew who the fuck I was. God damn! He said don't tell him about the culture. Implying that I'm part of the culture. Oh, shit, man. I gotta call my mom. Fuck!
Die Antwoord. Try it. Die Antwoord. First of all, if you're gonna rhyme something with die Antwoord, you should say our name properly. It's called Die Antwoord. Name of our band is called the Antwoord. Do you understand? It rhymes with... What does it rhyme with? Kant. Okay, so say Kant and then say Ant. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so like how would you feel if I called you Eminem? Okay, your name's Eminem, but I call you Eminem just because it rhymes with something, you know? Like that's like Eminem.
Eminem went to jail, but he got a little bit of semen in his bum, and he was never ever seen again.
Eminem went to jail and got a bit of semen in his bum and was never seen again. You know, do you see how that feels? Yeah?
course I'm on torrent. I'm driving a Porsche over the floorboards, over the 4 points, while you're in the 4 Taurus, getting an abortion and a divorce at the same time to hear the Fording. Look what I'm planning. I'm planning to do all this while you're panicking, and you're looking and staring at mannequins, and I'm going to Fanikins trying to get up a Planikins. All of the Planikins, Stanikin, Panikins. While all the Panikins, Stanikin, Anna in the cabana. I'm in a cabana in the Janet. I'm in a cabana chanting all the stand-up banner. Well, you don't got the stamina, you're lacking the stamina. You're lacking the stamina while you're divorcing Harrison Ford, and I'm in a Porsche and flowing ports. While I'm on torrent. You're using way too many napkins. Papkins. Lapkins and chapkins. You're using chapstick and napkins while I'm papkin. Flapping around like a papkin. Flamming a babbing pan and chapkin. Damn in a can of pit.
Yo, M took so many shots on Kamikaze. I really got afraid halfway through listening to it. I started getting worried. I was like, hold on. Is he gonna say something about me? I made it all the way through. I was safe. But whew, I bet Drake's real upset that he didn't get listed with J. Cole and Kendrick, that he caught the diss end of the stick.
I didn't even know Eminem was coming out with an album, and he just went off on that Kamikaze album. And I ain't never heard a Joyner before, but he snapped on that Lucky You track. I'm gonna start listening to him now, and I don't understand what's going on with this controversy surrounding that album. Like, have y'all never heard an Eminem album before? This is nothing new. This is actually, I think this is one of the cleaner versions of his music. So y'all that's complaining about his music, y'all need to go back to the 90s and see if you'd be offended even more, because you shouldn't even be offended from this one. I've barely noticed any controversy.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poorest part. Bright lights, city lights, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. Yeah. And I just come from the poorest part. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it. 4 seasons of power, now this is getting crazy. Never see it coming like Ghost in his third baby. Tariq's really flexing, catching licks, holding weapons. Had to lose his sister to finally learn a lesson. She's gone, Sasha gon' be fucked up. Probably calling Terry on the low for the house call. Earrings on the house floor, Ghost is on the dance floor. And she looking at him like she still just want a little more. She can't take it, no. Like, oh, so why you test me? Fuck around and have a baby like Tony Teresi, yeah. They think he a boss, yeah, about to take a loss. Thinking that Kane and Sweetie about to catch the heat when time he come. Pray you not a doctor, taught me not acting proper, cause he has Proctor. Ain't nobody singing, if not you getting shot. That's the way you stop the music from a jukebox. This like a Courtney Kim recap. Season 5, oh, I need that. The living widow on power, I think I really see that. Young boy from Brooklyn, right on picking his son up. Make the city proud, and that's words to my mother. This is a poorest town, yeah. I just come from the poorest part. Bright lights, city lights, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down, yeah. And that's
to prove to people that I'm a great rapper. You know what's funny about that whole prove you're a great rapper thing? And therapy helped me with this. You gotta be real careful with playing games that never garner results. Like, M is one of the best rappers in the world, arguably one of the best rappers ever, right? Right this second, he's trying to prove to people that he can rap. Like, the great rappers are gonna always be in a position where they have to prove they're trying to rap. The niggas that make hits are gonna always be, you can put out 30 hits in a row. The second that you don't have a hit, the second you don't produce one, I'm preaching right now, I gotta save this for the podcast. Alright, Instagram is kicking me off of here in 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's 90 seconds total anyway. Yeah, so what's gonna happen? lyric, I got you, man. Don't give away the content. That's what Spotify's saying. Yeah, I'm going to save this for the podcast. This is going to be a really, really, really good podcast. It's going to be a really, 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 really good State of the Culture show this week. I got a lot of points to get out, a lot to talk about. I have a lot of different opinions about all of this stuff going on. And I'm sure Remy does too. Yeah, fuck them. Motherfuckers. Hey, if anybody wanted Joe to respond to them in a rap, all they had to do was say Joe's name 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago. Like, don't do it now. I'm chilling now. Shit, it's over now. State of the Culture will be somewhere where you can access it.
What's good, y'all? We're gonna get into a little conversation right now, all right? About this whole situation, the Eminem situation, and Joe Budden's, Machine Gun Kelly, and all that shit. All right, y'all want to talk about that? Because that's what I'm going to talk about right now. So look. So, culture vulture. What is a culture vulture? I heard Dame Dash bring up culture vulture, right? Culture. What is a culture vulture? What defines a culture vulture? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Okay. Because I know when I was bringing that stuff up back then, 15, 20 years ago, about the machine and about how I felt like white people, and basically how I felt like white people was buying into black culture when it came to hip hop, all right? And I went up against Eminem because at that time I owned the Source. I felt like Interscope and just the powers that be were trying to create this white rapper so that, you know, the people in the so that the people of America can have their own, meaning they wouldn't have to necessarily deal with us anymore. And it seems like that's held to be true, okay? I wasn't trying to out-rap M. You know, M's good with words. There's no question. But we did find out some things about Eminem, about how he represented the culture. And we found out a few things that wasn't looking so good. And if social media was out back then, it'd be a whole different story. So, you know, I get a lot of flack from today's Eminem fans, all right? And a lot of them are super young, to where it's that he really ain't put out no real music for them to be loving him. The only how they really love him is because he's white. I think a lot of the same supporters that support Eminem, either they support Trump or their parents support Trump. So it's ironic watching him go at other white rappers. You know, the Machine Gun Kelly diss is pretty dope. I ain't gonna lie. I'm just not saying that. It's not like I'm a Machine Gun Kelly fan, but the song was pretty dope, you know? And he made some good points. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is Marshall mad? He's filthy rich. You know what I'm saying? He can fart on a record, come out, and it'll go gold, you know? But if you ask me, his new music, it's not hot. That's just my opinion. You know, it's not really going with today's music. Now, I know music is different these days. You know what I'm saying? It's all different. But I don't think what he's putting out is hot. You know, I heard the diss songs. What maybe even more disgusted is Joe Budden's, though. So for some reason, Eminem keeps going at Joe Budden's. Now, remember, Joe Budden's was in Slaughterhouse. Now, when I was going at Eminem, you know, he had his guys, D12 and Slaughterhouse. I mean, they all went at me with records, with songs. It really wasn't nothing too special. It wasn't nothing too hot. But what I'm noticing now is that he made a song called Stepping Stone. Now, Stepping Stone is what? Because he stepped all over D12 to get what he wanted. I don't know what Stepping Stone is. But then he starts going at Joe Budden. Now, Joe Budden proclaimed on his podcast that he was always better than Eminem. How? How are you better than him, Joe? You never went at him. You never battled him. You never made a song going against him. You hopped on a song going against me that really wasn't no hot. Nobody paid attention to when you was on Slaughterhouse. So now why all of a sudden it's different? Because he's going at you. Because he's shitting on you now. Joe Budden is like, that's phony to me. How can you get on a podcast talking about the state of the culture when you really don't represent it? It's no beef with Joe. Joe's cool, but I'm just saying what I'm saying. It's like back then, you wasn't saying that when Eminem was going at me, but now all of a sudden he's going at you and all this. You got all these excuses and why you say that you're better than him, but you ain't win at him. You ain't made no song to prove that. So therefore, that don't count, Joey. I mean, it's too many people that so-called represent hip-hop on these blog shows and on these and these blogs and these podcasts, and they weirdos, and they not really represent. They got a lot of y'all fooled, because a lot of y'all can be fooled, I guess. That's cool, but they can't fool me. They can't fool the Zista. Simple as that. I went at him saying that eventually white people are going to own all the formats, and they're going to, and the same people, them that was coming to buy our music and put money in our pocket, they ain't got to do that no more. And again, I'll say it again, most of Eminem's fans are all Trump supporters, and if they're not Trump supporters, their parents are. Meaning, they only really like him because he's white. Doesn't matter what he's saying, how he says it, or whatever. So all you weirdo, misfit, socially awkward Eminem fans that keep trying to come at me and mention my name, it don't work. You don't hold no ground because y'all ain't the cool kids. Y'all ain't really accepted. In our culture anyways. Eminem's music is not our culture. That's a different culture's rap music. Let's say what it is. Nobody runs around these hoods banging Eminem. Nobody. Sure, they're on the radio stations owned by white people. Sure, they're on all the major video owned by white. You know, yeah. But it's a line drawn. It's not the same anymore. You know what I'm saying? All that shit about he killed my career. He ain't killed my career. What career he killed? Zeno's still out here looking better than ever. You know what I'm saying? Everything's not about music. My life ain't about music. Although hip-hop culture is my life ain't about battling in music. Nobody wants to hear all that. We're talking about a culture of people. And actually hip-hop brought the cultures together. But if you look at Eminem's fans, they continuously want to separate the cultures. It's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Yo, but Joe Budden, somebody tell Joe Budden, somebody tag him and let him know what I'm saying. You dropped the ball on this one, homie. You scared of Eminem. Make a song and go against him. You scared? How can you say you better than him and you ain't made a song going against him? You was hugging his nuts when you was with Slaughterhouse, and now all of a sudden it's, oh no, Eminem. Come on, man. Let me tell you about a lot of these people out there who y'all follow. They make excuses up when it's beneficial to them. Motherfuckers don't be real, man. I am who I am. Say what I want to say. I am who I am. I never ran away from who I am. I'm not perfect. Of course, people are going to feel different from me. That's what makes everything beautiful. Everybody has their own opinions. You know what I'm saying? But all that shit about Eminem ending me and nailing the coffin, fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. All that shit was all jokey rap. The shit that I touched on hurt him. And he know that. He made the racist tape. He said black women was nothing but hoes and gold diggers. He actually did that. Then he made the excuse and say he used to date a black girl when he was 16. See, y'all didn't know that I had that Jimmy Iovine. I had a couple of meetings with him, and they didn't want me to put the tape out. They offered me all kind of record deals. I said, look, I just want to sit down with him. A lot's been said, and I think it would be good for the culture if me and him would sit down. And he said that Marshall wasn't interested in that. And then they took us to federal court trying to stop the tape to come out. I didn't make the tape. 3 of his white friends came up to the source and tried to sell the tape. We bought the tape. They tried to sell it for $50,000. We bought it for $15,000. So, you know what I'm saying? And again, I wasn't trying to out-rap this guy. My point was hip-hop was made to bring the cultures together, and the people that are pressing his button and pulling his strings are trying to separate the cultures and separate the music, and they've done a good job of that. All the Post Malones and the Mac Millers and the Mac and all these other guys, the Lil Pumps, they're all big top-selling artists, and a lot of people are getting crumbs out here. And it's cool because you know what? We can deal with our music, and I guess y'all can deal with y'all's. But it is a separate thing. Eminem's music's not our culture. The shit he talks about, and even his style and even the music, it's not what we bang to. It is what it is. I don't know if he can get with that South bounce, but that's what's popping. So, I know I'm still going to get flack and people in my inbox, 83-year-old fake Pacino, and it. Man, listen, if y'all can look this good at 53, y'all wish. I need a lot of y'all's 15, 16, 17-year-old little bastards that be talking all this shit to me. Post a picture of your father, of your old-ass father, and let's see who looks better. And I'm not a grandfather. No. Matter of fact, why don't we ask the question of who looks better? Eminem's younger than me by what? I remember when he said that he wouldn't rap past 40. Guess what? He's 47, 48 now. Bunch of bullshit. 83-year-old fake Pacino. Nah, I'm a real motherfucker from Boston. Really in them streets. It's kind of like the same thing, almost like how Drake and the Meek Mill thing went, and Drake and Pusha. Everybody wants to be like, oh, you're in the streets. Yeah, but that's what we rap about. We rap about what we live. And just because you guys wasn't in there, you can't rap about it. And that's what's different. So, you know, I said my piece. Shout out to everybody out there that loves hip-hop. One love to everybody. It ain't about race. But there are people that, you know, make it about race. The ones that run this country and the powers that be. Not Zeno. Zeno's trying to make it equal for all. And that's what I did back then. And that's what I continue to scream. I'm not so vocal about it, you know, these days, but all this shit's happening. And Joe Buttons, please make a song about Eminem.
Y'all know what it is. Hollow the Dawn. We're here to talk about this Joe and Eminem situation. You know they've been hitting me crazy at me because I battled Joe. Look, I'm not in it, but I'm going to give you my thoughts. I'm big on accountability. So first and foremost, we're going to say where both of Joe and Eminem could take accountability at. First, Joe, he kind of was harsh on his review. You got to understand, what he said in his blog is very true. A lot of creators are very sensitive when it comes to their craft. So him knowing that, or him kind of having that in his head, he should have tread water a little bit on, you know, on the Revival album. Oh, it wasn't my cup of tea. M's done way better. To call it trash, you know you hurt that man's feelings, especially being on his label. Now, Eminem, you've been in the game long enough. You should be able to take criticism and know, like, yo, I'm going to hit his phone, let him know that wasn't right. We're going to work this out. Going back on Joe on the record wasn't the move to me. Unless you really already had some issues with him, which I think this is where it's stemming from. Already had some issues and y'all didn't really have that synergy together. Like, y'all wasn't feeling each other. So I really think that's where it's stemming from. But that's where they both could have took accountability on. Like, yo, I shouldn't have said your shit trash. I shouldn't have went at you on the record. It could have been dead at there. Yo, the cat is making me hot. If it's not my son, it's the cat. Yo, chill out, cat. So anyway, because we already look like I'm in the shower. Yeah, so that's that. So let's get to the battle. If Eminem, if this is Joe and this is M, and who will win? I've stood in front of Joe. I know what Joe is capable of. And he's capable of way more than he showed when he stood in front of me. I know that for sure. If y'all think Joe Buttons will prepare for Eminem like he prepared for me, that's funny. Joe will probably come with his best written shit he ever came with for Eminem. Now, with that being said, Eminem, when it comes to just writing, nobody's fucking with Eminem. We're talking just writing skills. Nobody's fucking with MZ. But the thing about battle rap, his performance, his delivery, his crowd control. So all that would come into play in the battle. So people saying Joe would get murdered. You got to think about the delivery, the performance. We're just talking battles now. We ain't get to the records yet. You got to think about all that when you talk about battle rap, not just rapping. It's a lot of elements that come into play. Rapping is the most important element, but it's a lot of elements that come into play. So in a battle, obviously Eminem's star power and his lyricism, I'm not voting against that. You know what I mean? Biased review is not here. So if y'all expecting a biased review, it's not happening. But I'm not going against M. So battle-wise, I don't know how Joe would end up taking M out. M is one of them dudes with the star power and the rapping skills alone. He probably could beat anybody on this planet. If M was just a regular dude, he wouldn't be, he could get beat. He could get it. But he has star power and lyricism. That would be hard to top. Now, on a record, this is me just as a fan now because I don't have experience as much as you guys do. On a record, same shit, Joe. And I love Joe. If this was bias review, I'd be going for Joe because I'm cooler with Joe than M. I just met M one time. Like, nobody gets to meet M. But that's just my predictions and that side because everybody's at me about the battles. Let me get to the nitty gritty of what I really want to talk about. Something Joe touched on that I think is very important, and that's why I love Joe being in the media. These artists are all about self. Y'all remember the old days when Cameron threw Jewel's on Oh Boy, his lead single for his album? You know, Jay-Z did a whole song on Beanie's album and put it out as a single. Like, y'all remember those days? Joe has a great point. If M knows that his name can bring out these type of people, these groups, just from him saying another artist's name, why wouldn't you say your own artist name? Why wouldn't you say Westside Boogie? Why wouldn't you say Conway, Westside Gun? You know what I mean? Like, these artists nowadays are not putting on their artists how I feel they should be. Why aren't every artist should have their artists on their album? I don't care if they don't fit the certain song, and it got to be more than just a tweet, more than just a post. So I felt Joe when he said that. Why aren't these artists pushing their artists to the forefront? And that's a problem with battle rap and rap right now. Because Joe is saying it from his standpoint, which a lot of artists feel. They don't get the push from when they're signed under other rappers. They don't get that push. With battle rap, it's the same thing going on because they're feeling like these leagues ain't pushing them further than just a battle. So now we got to decide, how could we change this? What could we do? Because this ain't right. This ain't right. An artist having a bunch of artists just as a sign-off at the end of the year? That's not loopy, my guy. That's not mixy. That's not none of that. So my opinion is that's what should be focused on to fix this problem in the future. Is artists, label owners, owners of entertainment entity, period, is start treating your artists and the people that work for you like something. Do more than just pay them. Do more than just look out. Go the extra mile. So you could avoid the Eminem and Joe Budden situation. So you could avoid the URL and other battlers situation. This is how you treat people to make them feel like, yo, I'm a part of something special. You don't just come through the studio and say, oh, that's a good record. Dope. And you don't see him again. That ain't how you build bonds and trust. So that's the main thing I feel like needs to be talked about and focused on. Let me turn this light up a little brighter so y'all can see me. Look at me. Start looking out for your workers. Start supporting the people under you. Stop thinking they always gonna be there. Because if you don't feed the dog, it comes back to bite you. That's a factory. That's a factorial. Alright? So that's the main thing we need to get out of this. If you are owner of a label, of any entity, especially in entertainment, look out for the person you sign. Check up on them. Make sure they good. Because if not, all the dirt is coming out once they get hungry. Okay? And that's it. We done with it. Ah.